Recognized.
Thank you very much. I yield to the gentleman from Washington 4 minutes, who is a member of the Financial Services Committee, who's paid a lot of attention to this issue. Representative Heck.
The gentleman from Washington is recognized for 4 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I thank the ranking member very much. I am from Washington State, and I am about to commit a sacrilege. We could have saved a lot of trees and a lot of time if we had had a one-sentence bill that simply said, end the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. We could have had an honest debate then about whether we should have a government agency, any government agency, with a mandate to protect consumers from deceptive financial marketing and abusive financial practices. We could have had a discussion about what the CFPB has accomplished thus far and whether it's accessible to Americans, whether its proposed streamlined forms are more effective at educating Americans, whether its rules are thoroughly researched and revised after comments from all sides. Instead, we'll have a debate, and are having a debate, over reorganizing and defunding and subordinating and other matters of process and organization that are all frankly designed to kill CFPB by 1,000 cuts. I think the proposition here is fairly straightforward and remains a mystery to me. If one desires to do away with the CFPB, why not have the courage to introduce that bill straightforwardly? Ordinarily, I don't assign motives or characterize intent on the part of people who advance legislation, but the fact of the matter is, many of those who are advocating for this bill's passage oppose the creation of the agency, flat out. The fact of the matter is that a companion bill, granted one not in this, even retitled the agency and took the words consumer protection out. The fact of the matter is, if there were more credible arguments in support of this legislation, I think we would be a little more careful with the facts. Here's a fact. There isn't a penny of taxpayer dollars that supports CFPB. It is fee-based. And here's a fact omitted. More than 60% of the cost associated with the alleged remodel budget, which is an estimate, a fact omitted, more than 60% is associated with upgrading to code. Now, I know for another fact that the people who are making that argument do not want civil servants to occupy unsafe and unhealthy buildings. But most importantly, this is the part that really gets me. We're going to spend a lot of time on this today and in committee, and we're going to pass it to the Senate, and we all know what its fate is going to be. Right down into the round file. Well, that's fine. People have a right to make their point, but what is the opportunity cost of making that point in committee and on the floor? At least one of the opportunity costs is getting to work on actual regulatory relief. We have several bills, bipartisan bills, for regulatory relief. Some form of the CLEAR Act. Not all the members on my side support it, but some do. We could actually get to work on regulatory relief if we would set aside our efforts for this messaging and exercise. As for me, no matter what the form, I'm going to vote no on any bill that kills the CFPB. Any bill. I will vote no because of the work that CFPB does on behalf of my constituents. I will vote to preserve the Office of Servicemembers Affairs and the great work that Holly Petraeus is doing. They have a special mandate to protect the men and women in uniform. I have the privilege to represent Joint Base Lewis McChord, tens of thousands of uniformed personnel. If you ever talk to anybody I don't see how anybody that has a military base even near their
Gentleman's
district.
time's expired.
I yield an additional minute to the gentleman.
Thank you.
The gentleman may proceed for 1 minute.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I don't see how anybody who has a military base anywhere near their district can support this legislation. I will vote to protect the experts who are laying the groundwork for the first national consumer protection rules on payday loans and other short-term high-interest loans. I will vote to defend the Bureau's work protecting students from high interest rate loans and creating a uniform set of borrower rights and protections for all student loans, public or private. If we really want a stable, predictable business environment, we wouldn't be going down this path. At the end of the day, again, the proposition is very straightforward. If you support consumer protection, you will vote no on this legislation. If you oppose consumer protection, you will vote yes. But I entreat you, I plead with you to please vote no. Thank you, Mr. Chair.